DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, it's going to be a beer vlog and expat vlog number 2. The beer vlog, it's O'Hara's Irish Red. Now this beer, the O'Hara's, I had the last time I was in Ireland with Mrs. DC. We did not have the Irish Red though. We had probably porter or brown beer at the time, but this time it will be the Irish Red. It's a Guinness glass, I know, but it's the closest that I've got to the type of glass for over there. So the Irish Red is probably going to be similar to a Kilkenny, but we'll see. So, of course, my faithful Boulevard bulb opener. So let's open it. It's open. Let's see what it looks like. So, pouring nicely. Get a little bit of head and finish off. There you are. Could have given a little bit more. Very nice. You can maybe see the nice reddish color. Okay, let's try it. This is fantastic. It is, in a way, a bit like a Kilkenny's, but cut above. It's almost kind of there's a hoppy taste, a little bit of fruity taste. It's not like the IPAs that I've had before, but it is still in that direction. Maybe it is kind of one, I don't know, but having said that, it is very nice. Very cool. I just read something funny. It says refunds in Quebec 20 cents. So they actually must sell this in Canada. Anyway, it is made in Carlow, Ireland. And when I'll be back sometime in Ireland, I will try and get some. Okay, so it is very, very nice. If you can get your hands on some, do. It's a half-liter bottle, and for those who are interested, 4.3% alcohol. So that's less than many beers. It's got a nice Celtic type of image, a little bit on the top, like, but nice. Okay, I said I'd go on with the expat stuff, part 2. Well, when I finished off the last video, we had arrived in England. What I had not said is that for both Mrs. DC and me, it was the first flight in an airplane, whatever size, and we left Mirabel. So at that time in 1985, the international airport from Montreal was Mirabel, which was quite a ways away for us. And we flew in a really big thunderstorm. So our first flight, I mean, the plane was literally bouncing all over. It really, really was. And man, I mean, it was kind of scary, especially if it's your first flight. Okay, the last time I said that when we arrived, how we had, let me have a thunderstorm here. I might even have to cut this short, who knows. How we had to bluff a bit our way through immigration. Once we got out of Heathrow, which in those days had only 3 terminals, I think now there's 5, and they may even be building a 6th one. But anyway, there was 3 terminals, and we got out. Things went really, really well. We got onto that coach, and we had lots of baggage. I mean, in those days, you could have 2 suitcases without any, without paying for the, 2 big suitcases, and it went by weight. And we had the total. I mean, we had just about almost all the clothes that I could say that we owned. And I might have to touch this before long. Anyway, so when we took the coach from Heathrow all the way to Oxford. If I'm right, an hour and a half. Might be an hour and a half. Beautiful countryside. I remember seeing the first time in my life those, like the stone walls that you see in the movies with the sheep and all the greenery. I mean, be it England or Ireland, these are green countries. There's a lot of rain there. And when we got to Oxford, now here's a little story within a story. We had a family that was going to take care of us when we arrived in Oxford, because we were in a small Brethren church. It was called Huntingville Community Church near Sherbrooke. In Huntingville Community Church, the elder there, his name was Les, had given me a name of people in a church at Oxford, and I contacted them. It was there was Helen, there was Derek, there was of course there was Richard and Rachel. I'll probably name them a few times as we go along. I mentioned Derek and Helen because we were going to stay at their place, but Richard and Rachel were kind of like I was going to say big brother and sister once we got there. Richard was going to pick us up at the coach station in Oxford. So once we get there, of course he didn't know really what we looked like. These are pre-internet days, and as far as I remember, we didn't send a picture or anything. And that's funny. I see in a house over there somebody's looking at me behind their curtains. That is interesting. Anyway, so keeping on, we got out of the coach station, and I guess the fact that we got out with so many suitcases, he probably had a heart attack almost, because Richard was there with his daughter, Sarah, and they saw those suitcases. Now, what you should know is that Oxford has what we call the town and gown. There's the gown, which is the university part, in the town. The town was the Morris. Is that right? Yeah, for the Morris cars, and they would build cars in Oxford many years, around the Cowley district it was called. So of course Richard had a good British car at the time. It wasn't very big, and when he saw all those suitcases, it was like, how are we going to get all those things? I guess we're going to have to do 2 trips or something like that. But finally, squeeze in a little bit more, holding your breath, whatever. We did manage to get in there, but it was, first off, Richard was the epitome of dry British humor. He was so much fun at times, but with his accent, very clipped. He was the head librarian of one section in the Bodleian Library. Very much an academic. And we got to their place. Now, if you've ever seen movies on England, you'll see all these semi-detached or detached houses all up together. So there's like maybe 10 of them in a row. And often you can only get to the backyard by going either through the garage or through the house. So they all have a little backyard, and then it's a minuscule drive. You always wonder how they're going to back into that. Well, we got there, and there was his wife, and I will give you a little tidbit. Their son, Andy. Well, for many years, he was the main guitarist in Oasis. But this was way before those days, and way before the Gallagher split up. So once we got there, that was the first introduction. We got there, then they had they had made a chicken, and well, by American standards, that would have been really small. They knew how to share, put it that way. I could just see them, like in the movies. He was sharpening his knives and carving that chicken and serving us. The first thing that came out there was the total friendship factor that came out. We'd always been told that the Brits were going to be cold and maybe take a while to get to know them. There's some truth in that, but we fell into an extremely loving and caring family at first. And that was before getting to the university. Now, will I leave you on the cliffhanger there? I think I will, actually, because I'll start talking about the university the next time as an expat moving into the halls of the Dyson-Perrins laboratory. Dyson-Perrins. You've probably heard of Lee and Perrins, the Worcestershire sauce, or Worcester sauce as they call it there, or steak sauce. Well, that's because there was a bequeath, you say, the factory was given to the university, and the chemistry labs, the research labs, were in there then. But I'll get into that. I'll get into that when I start talking about the halls and the colleges of Oxford. Well, okay, maybe that'll be it for now on this beer expat vlog. So, DC signing off. I'm going to close this thing before the storm comes, because it's coming pretty quickly. Okay, DC signing off. Bye-bye. Take care. Cheers.